Michael Vance, the ruthless CEO of Titan Aerospace, checked out of his Manhattan penthouse suite like he always did, fast, cold, and with zero interest in the staff. But what he didn't know was that Ana Morales, a quiet hotel maid, had slipped a USB drive into his coat pocket before he left. No note, no explanation, just data. And that USB, it didn't just expose a betrayal. It saved his life and almost brought down the company he built. She dusted the frame, straightened the pillows, wiped down the glass desk, then slipped a USB drive into the inside pocket of his suit jacket. She didn't say a word, didn't leave a note, and she never expected to see him again. But what she placed in that pocket would change his life forever. 7:41 a.m., Hudson Regent Hotel, New York City. Michael Vance, CEO of Titan Aerospace, was on a tight schedule. His private driver waited downstairs. His team was prepping for a closed-door strategy session across town. He never lingered. He slipped into his pressed navy suit, adjusted the lapel, and grabbed his coat from the chair by the window. He didn't notice the extra weight in the inside pocket. Not yet. 7:44 a.m. Downstairs lobby, Ana Morales stood beside her cleaning cart, eyes lowered. She heard the soft chime of the elevator. Vance stepped out, nodding curtly to the doorman. He never saw her. She didn't expect him to. But she watched the coat as it swayed with his stride. Watched the black car door open. Watched him disappear into the Manhattan traffic. Then she returned to her cart, exhaled softly, and whispered, "It's in your hands now." 8:10 a.m. Titan Aerospace HQ, Midtown Manhattan. Vance arrived at the glass and steel tower that bore the company's name. Titan Aerospace, defense contractor, global satellite systems integrator, and quietly one of the most influential tech giants in the world. He was sharp, fast, and feared. And yet today, something felt off. His assistant handed him an envelope of printed reports. Boardrooms prepped. Contracts from Langley came through. Any delays, he asked. Only a minor scheduling conflict. He nodded. But as he reached for the pen in his coat pocket, he felt it a hard edge. Not his pen. Not supposed to be there. 8:11 a.m. CEO office, 51st floor. Vance pulled out a small black USB drive. No label, no markings, just a tiny red dot on the cap. His brow furrowed. He plugged it into the secure port of his sandbox machine, the one isolated from Titan's network. Nothing happened for 6 seconds. Then a single folder appeared. "Look inside before they look for you." He clicked. 8:13 a.m. The contents. There were 4 high-resolution images from Titan's internal surveillance system. A spreadsheet with code signatures and system login patterns. An access log to a server Vance didn't recognize. A still image of someone using his credentials to enter a restricted data vault. At the bottom, a short message. "Check the server named Veritas. They've already set you up. You have 2 days. After that, they won't need you." 8:26 a.m. Internal IT ping. He picked up the phone. "Does Titan operate any server cluster named Veritas?" The IT lead hesitated. "That's not a production server, sir. It's archived. We don't use it anymore." "Do we own it?" "Well, technically, but it's housed off-site. One of the New Mexico black vaults." "Who has access? I'll check." "No," Vance interrupted. "Send me everything, privately." 900 a.m., a new name. The IT results came in encrypted. Veritas had been accessed 9 times in the last 3 weeks. Each time from a rotating IP inside Titan's HQ. Each time under Michael Vance's user credentials. 9:12 a.m., the realization. Someone was inside the system wearing his name-planting footprints. And now, someone else, a maid, had tipped him off. He whispered to himself, "Who the hell are you?" 9:15 a.m., Hotel Rewind. Vance had the Regent's head of security on the line within the hour. "Room 5902, he said. "I want every name tied to it. Guests or staff both." 10:21 a.m., her name, Ana Morales, housekeeping, 6th year. No disciplinary record. No known affiliations, last clocked in 70 a.m., clocked out 7:45 a.m., the same window as his checkout. 10:42 a.m., Vance's internal protocol. He opened a secure comm line to his private server room. "Initiate shadow log of all login activity from this device ID. Mask request. Do not alert risk division." The AI flagged the command. "This order bypasses trust protocol. Proceed anyway." The maid left no note. Just a key to a door no one else knew existed, and Michael Vance had just turned the handle. The USB wasn't a threat. It was a warning. But by the time Michael Vance started listening, someone else had already moved to take him out. 7:33 a.m. Titan Aerospace. HQ. Executive lobby. Michael Vance walked through the polished glass doors like he always did. But this time, something was different. 4 security guards were posted at the elevator. The front desk assistant wouldn't meet his eyes. His personal access badge blinked red. Access denied. He turned to the guards. "What the hell is this?" One stepped forward. "Mr. Vance, you've been placed under internal security hold pending investigation." Vance froze. "Investigation for what?" 7:40 a.m. Risk Division, 23rd floor. Vance was led into a white conference room where Victor Hale, COO of Titan Aerospace, waited with a legal rep and a company auditor. Victor's voice was calm. Too calm. "There's been a breach," he said. "A major one. Files tied to our Department of Defense contracts have been leaked." He placed a folder on the table. "And all signs point to your access credentials." Inside the folder, login timestamps, data transfer logs, command line pings from Vance's user ID, a private encrypted channel created from his terminal. 8:00 a.m. Denial and doubt. "I didn't authorize this," Vance said flatly. Victor shrugged. "The logs say otherwise. We've already notified our federal liaison. Effective immediately, your executive privileges are suspended until further review." Vance leaned forward. "You think I'd leak my own company's secrets?" Victor didn't blink. "That's not my call anymore." 8:45 a.m. The walls close in. Vance's private access was revoked. His biometric login was disabled. Internal news chatter leaked to select outlets breaking Titan Aerospace CEO under review for potential breach of national security protocols. He watched the story develop, faster than any investigation should have. 9:32 a.m. Ana Morales goes missing. Back at the Regent Hotel. The staff file for Ana Morales was suddenly removed from the internal HR system. Her supervisor tried calling her emergency contact disconnected. The head of security checked the time cards. Her last clock-out timestamp had been erased. 10:12 a.m. A risky call. Vance used a private burner phone stashed in his car, one the company didn't know about. He called his personal systems analyst, Miles Cheng. "Miles," he said, "I need you to pull a copy of last month's network activity from the Veritas cluster." Covertly. "That system's been deprecated," Miles replied. "It's a ghost node." "No, it's where they're setting me up. I need to know who's really inside." Miles paused. "If I do this, I'm on their radar. They already think it's me. Either we prove it's not, or they'll make it true." 11:03 a.m. Victor Hale's move. At that moment, COO. Victor Hale stood in a private side office watching a screen as a script executed clone user, Vance, mirror access, timestamp, backfill, clean logs, target Morales, A, purge history. A junior engineer looked concerned. "Should we be deleting the maid's record?" Victor smiled. She gave him the key. "But we'll make it look like she planted the bomb." 11:37 a.m. Miles's findings. Miles called back. "I pulled metadata from Veritas. You were right, someone tunneled in using a masked process 2 weeks ago. Did it trace to me?" "Yes. But the source IP. It was routed through a dev node in Victor Hale's old division." Vance sat in silence. "Then get me everything. And encrypt a copy in cold storage. Because if I disappear next, that's the proof I was telling the truth. They didn't just erase her. They erased him. And unless he fought back now, the story being written would become the truth. She was supposed to clean rooms, keep her head down, stay invisible. But Ana Morales had seen too much. And when she left that USB, she knew she was risking everything. 12:15 p.m. Bronx, New York, Morales family apartment. Michael Vance stood outside an aging apartment building in the South Bronx. No suit, no driver, no security detail. He double-checked the address scribbled on the back of the Regent Hotel's cleaning roster. Apartment 3B, Anna Morales. He rang the buzzer. No answer. Then a faint voice behind him. You shouldn't be here. 12:16 p.m. The alley behind the building. Anna stood near a dumpster hoodie up, glancing both ways. Her face was tight with fear. Vance approached slowly. I'm not here to hurt you. She shook her head. You already did, Mr. Vance. Not to me, to my brother. He paused. Your brother, Gabriel Morales. He worked tech maintenance at Titan's New Mexico facility. He found something buried. She swallowed hard. 2 weeks later, he was dead. They said it was a car accident. I saw what was left of the car. It wasn't an accident. 12:23 p.m. The truth comes out. Anna explained how Gabriel started acting paranoid in the final days, talking about secret servers, hidden systems no one admitted existed. He warned her to be careful. Then one day, he vanished. 2 days later, police found his car wrapped around a ravine railing. Closed case, no questions asked. But she remembered something else. He mailed me a small box. No note, just a USB, the one I gave you. 12:45 p.m., shared risk. I don't know what's on it, Anna said, but I know it scared him. Vance looked at her. Why me? Why put it in my coat? She hesitated. Because it was meant for you. He frowned. What my brother said, if anything happened to him, someone at the top needed to see it before it was too late. You were staying on my floor. I recognized your face from the news. I took a chance. 1:00 p.m. Ava's warning. Anna handed Vance a prepaid burner phone. You should go. They'll be watching you and me. He nodded. What about you? She met his gaze. I stopped running when I gave you the drive. Now it's your turn. 1:15 p.m. Midtown Manhattan, Titan HQ. Meanwhile, Victor Hale reviewed a new access log. Unauthorized meeting detected subject. M. Vance location Morales residence. Vicinity surveillance match Morales active. He leaned back. Time to clean up. 2:03 p.m. Surveillance team. Assembled Hale summoned a risk division duo. Find the maid. If she talks, this whole thing burns. And Vance. Let him run. We'll pin every piece of project backscatter on him. The deeper he digs, the worse it'll look. 2:42 p.m. Anna vanishes. By the time Vance checked Anna's apartment again that evening, the door was ajar. No one inside. The burner phone lay smashed on the floor. No sign of struggle, no sign of her. Just a single item left on the couch. A Titan Aerospace visitor badge with the name Gabriel Morales. She gave him the truth. Now she was gone. And if he didn't finish what her brother started, he'd be next. The logs were clean. The access records were fake. And the servers said everything was fine. But beneath Titan's gleaming infrastructure, something was alive. And it had been listening for a long time. 3:12 a.m. Unknown location. Rented server bunker, New Jersey. Michael Vance sat in a borrowed backroom server bay, the glow from an encrypted laptop screen flickering across his tired face. Beside him, Miles Cheng, his former personal systems analyst, tapped through deep system code. They were reviewing the USB Anna had planted and what it had opened inside the Titan network. Miles leaned back, stunned. There's a second OS running inside your infrastructure. Vance blinked. Come again. Miles gestured at the code overlay. A mirror operating system, completely hidden from the production network. It runs in parallel, has full admin rights. It tracks every executive login, and it's been active for over 2 years. 3:25 a.m. Origins of the ghost. The deeper they dove, the more disturbing the picture became. Miles decrypted pieces of metadata buried in the logs. It's called Project Backscatter. Someone designed it to monitor, record, and replicate executive-level commands, even override them silently. Vance clenched his jaw. Someone's been using this to impersonate me. That's how they set me up. Miles nodded. And that someone, they're inside. You don't build this kind of architecture without internal compliance. 3:48 a.m. Synthetic history. They found falsified logs, faked calendar invites, email timestamps altered, audit trails rewritten. Even the company's own AI security engine had been manipulated to show clean results. They're not just hiding the activity, Miles said. They're rewriting history. 4:02 a.m. The server. Alias Miles pulled a list of subnets from the hidden system. One stood out: node SPN Alpha 202 alias EchoGate. It was a back-channel server that routed traffic through dummy corporations. One of them Argent Ridge Logistics, a Titan subcontractor in New Mexico. Vance's eyes narrowed. Gabriel Morales. Miles looked confused. Who Vance stood. Her brother worked at the New Mexico site. That's where this started. 4:30 a.m. Victor Hale makes his next move. Back at Titan HQ, Victor Hale reviewed the internal AI logs. A security crawler had detected unauthorized activity outside company grounds, a match for Vance's access key. He smiled coldly. Let him dig. Every click builds the case against him. He typed a command, flag Vance as internal threat tier 1. 5:12 a.m. Anna's last signal. Miles pinged a private surveillance relay and uncovered footage from a nearby traffic cam. Anna Morales entering a nondescript van, escorted, not resisting. Timestamp 5 hours earlier. Vance watched the grainy footage. She didn't run. They took her. He turned to Miles. Then we find out why. And we burn this thing to the ground. They built a system to erase people, rewrite loyalty, replace the truth. Now it had a name, Project Backscatter. And Michael Vance wasn't just fighting for his company anymore. He was fighting to stop a machine built to destroy it. When the truth is buried too deep to find, sometimes a lie is broadcast instead. And this lie, it was clean rehearsed and delivered straight to the public by someone inside Titan. 7:02 a.m. Titan Aerospace HQ, Media War Room COO. Victor Hale stood in front of a private press liaison briefing a chosen leak partner. A digital package labeled Whistle Submission M. Vance saw Backscatter was ready. Present it like a patriot's warning, Hale said. This isn't an attack, it's a confession. And the source anonymous, of course. Let the world assume it came from inside Titan. Because technically, he smirked it did. 9:12 a.m. Breaking news. Across national media, Titan Aerospace CEO linked to covert surveillance program, leaked documents, confirm Project Backscatter, was commissioned by Michael Vance. Photos, diagrams, signed access authorizations, all forged, all too clean. 9:27 a.m. Midtown Safe House. Vance watched the headlines roll in on a burner tablet. Miles said nothing. The footage was sharp. The whistleblower documents had his name on them. His ID badge was overlaid on the contract files. Even his voice was spliced into a clipped audio file. We control perception. We control behavior. That's the point of Backscatter. Vance's real voice. From a speech, years ago. Taken out of context. Recut. Weaponized. 9:40 a.m. Fallout. Titan's board suspended Vance's employment contract. Internal security issued a red alert. Vance's bank accounts froze under investigation. Every news outlet echoed the same line: Vance authorized AI-based surveillance to monitor not just Titan, but outside partners and federal liaisons. Miles whispered, "They're making you the villain in your own company's origin story." 10:02 a.m. Anna's return, unexpected a ping. One line of text from an untraceable number. He wasn't the only one they killed. They attached a PDF titled Internal Purge, List, V3 PDF inside. Names of subcontractors and whistleblowers. Internal disciplinary orders marked cleared. Dates of termination followed by dates of accidents. Gabriel Morales. 2 others, and 3 more scheduled for reassignment this month. Vance whispered, "They're cleaning house." 10:34 a.m. The only option. Vance turned to Miles. Then we go public. The real story. Raw. Unfiltered. Miles hesitated. "You realize no one will believe you now. They've already built the narrative. You're the villain." Then we prove the lies louder than the truth. 11:00 a.m. Building the payload. Miles started compiling the full decrypted logs of Project Backscatter. Original metadata showing Victor Hale's access pattern. Terminal logs showing the falsification timestamps. A secure video from Anna pre-recorded confirming her brother's death, and Hale's name all packaged in a kill drop bundle that could be released globally. 12:01 p.m. The chase begins. Titan Risk Division tracked Vance's burner signal. An unmarked black SUV pulled up outside the safe house. Miles saw them first. Time to go. Vance grabbed the backup drive. Miles smashed the server node. They fled through the freight entrance just as the front door splintered open. 12:17 p.m. On the run again. As they weaved through the back alleys of Manhattan, Vance said they thought the lie would be enough. They didn't count on the girl who cleaned rooms, knowing where the bodies were buried. The lie had gone viral. The truth was barely alive. But now the world was watching, and Michael Vance had just found the match. All he had to do was light the fuse. Sometimes the only way to clear your name is to go back to where the lie began. Buried beneath sand heat and dead records was the birthplace of Project Backscatter, and possibly the only proof left to save Michael Vance. 6:32 a.m. Albuquerque, New Mexico, desert highway. The road stretched endlessly under the early sun. Michael Vance drove west in a rented SUV. No cell signal, no GPS. Beside him, Miles Cheng scanned printed satellite maps. According to Gabriel's files, the original Titan subcontractor site was decommissioned 5 years ago, Miles said. Then why was it still uploading data last month, Vance asked. 7:28 a.m. Argent Ridge Logistics Facility, restricted gate. A rusted sign read, Argent Ridge, private property, Titan subcontractors only. Fences sagged, cameras hung loose. But when Vance scanned the perimeter with a field jammer, a signal pinged back. Miles squinted. There's still power. 8:05 a.m. Breach entry. Using a code from Gabriel Morales' archived drive, they opened a side access door. Inside, empty workstations, dust-covered servers, cracked monitors, but in the far corner, one glowing green light. Node 14. Active. 8:42 a.m. What Gabriel found Miles accessed the node. The system didn't ask for a password, it recognized Gabriel's old credentials. A hidden folder appeared. Mirror, Ops, Backscatter, Initiation, logs inside. Initial planning documents. Hale's name listed as project sponsor. A memo from Titan's legal team stating all Phase 2 deployments must remain off books. Absolute deniability must be preserved. Vance read silently. This was never about surveillance. It was about leverage. 9:10 a.m., the kill switch. One folder stood out, fail-safe termination protocol. Miles clicked it. The document listed trigger scenarios. Executive whistleblower identified. Unauthorized decryption attempt. External leak initiated. If triggered, the system would purge targeted individuals, spoof fatal accidents, and wipe all trace of the project from Titan's infrastructure. 9:29 a.m., a name they weren't expecting. Under targets reviewed was a name in bold, Anna Morales, marked for silent termination. Reason asset breach risk via Gabriel Morales chain. Vance's throat tightened. She's still in danger. Miles nodded. And if we leave this system live, It'll execute. 9:45 a.m. The core disconnect. They shut down the internal relay server, but not before Miles extracted a cold image of the core directory. He removed the physical drive, locked it in a Faraday case. This is the evidence. It's everything they tried to erase. 10:23 a.m. Black SUV in the distance. As they drove away from Argent Ridge, a dust cloud rose in the rearview mirror. 2 black vehicles followed. They knew we'd come here, Vance said. Miles accelerated. 10:40 a.m. Chase through the mesa. They drove off-road, bouncing across desert scrub. Bullets cracked past the window. The SUV fishtailed around a ridge. Miles tossed the backup drive into a hidden crevice before driving into a narrow canyon. The pursuing vehicles lost them for now. 11:02 a.m. A message sent from a makeshift satellite uplink. Vance sent Anna a one-line encrypted message. We have it. They'll come for you. Be ready. They'd gone to the desert for truth, but left with a target on their backs. And somewhere in a concrete building back in New York, Victor Hale knew they were still alive. Every frame, every login, every command had been crafted to point at Michael Vance. But the man behind the curtain had grown too bold. And now the truth had a name: Victor Hale. 6:18 a.m. Brooklyn Safe House. Michael Vance and Miles Cheng returned to New York under cover of darkness. The backup drive with the project backscatter files was safe, encrypted, ready. We're not sending this through any network, Vance said. We release it in person. Miles nodded. But if we do this, Hale will hit back harder. You'll be risking open war. I'm already dead in their version of the story, Vance replied. I'd rather go down as the man who exposed it. 8:01 a.m. Ana Morales reappears. A knock at the safe house door. Ana, exhausted, quiet, eyes clear. She handed them a flash drive. I found this in Gabriel's old safe deposit box, buried under a stack of fake bills and expired IDs. The drive contained something startling, a security camera feed from Titan HQ 6 months prior, showing Victor Hale standing at a terminal labeled Echo Gate behind him, a list of flagged personnel. One by one, he deletes each name. Gabriel Morales was at the top of the list. 9:22 a.m. Crosscheck Miles compared the timestamp from the camera feed to the internal access logs from Titan. They scrubbed this session, he said. There's no record of Hale logging in that day. Ana whispered. So he made it vanish. No, Vance said. He made us vanish. 10:04 a.m. Plan of exposure. The group drafted a 4-part leak plan. 1. The real backscatter logs. 2. The forged whistleblower documents. 3. Gabriel Morales' file and death review. 4. The surveillance video of Victor Hale at the control terminal. They delivered at the Federal Regulatory Oversight Summit held the next day in Washington, D.C. All key defense contractors would be there, including Titan's board. 12:10 p.m. Meanwhile, at Titan, Victor Hale paced the glass-lined halls of Titan's executive floor. A junior staffer entered shaken. Sir, there's chatter. Encrypted traffic from Vance's old private node. It's bouncing through 5 proxies. He's active. Hale turned calm. Then it's time. He opened a secure console. Typed, execute, echo, initiate blackout, Vance. A cascading series of triggers activated. Credit reports locked. Travel flags issued. FBI watch status silently updated. News sites received an internal leak linking Vance to foreign digital espionage. 1:45 p.m. Vance becomes a national threat. Headlines spread like wildfire. Breaking former Titan CEO tied to off-site espionage ring sources. Allege Vance sold backdoor system to international bidder. Victor Hale comments, "We are cooperating fully with federal authorities." Miles stared at the screen. He's painting you as a traitor. Vance closed his eyes. Then let's show the world who the real one is. 2:30 p.m. The final setup. They built the payload, all digital evidence, verified timestamps, Hale's control room footage, Anna's video testimony. They created both a live presentation drive and a dead man's leak pre-scheduled to publish everything globally if the main plan failed. 5:10 p.m. The message to Hale Vance sent one file directly to Hale's inbox, a still image of Hale at the terminal with one caption, "Your mirror's cracking." Hale stared at it for a long moment, then picked up his phone. Activate internal containment. If Vance shows up at the summit, end him. He'd been framed, buried, erased. But now Michael Vance had the truth, and Victor Hale had just made his final mistake leaving one camera on. The files were ready, the plan was set, and the stage was national. But exposing the truth was never going to be safe, especially when the man they were exposing controlled the security around it. 7:01 a.m., Washington, D.C., Federal Regulatory Oversight Summit. At the prestigious Jefferson Trade Hall, the nation's top aerospace defense and cybersecurity leaders gathered. Titan Aerospace had a prime seat. So did Victor Hale, standing at the edge of the press staging area in a slate gray suit, calm and unreadable. What he didn't know, Michael Vance, Anna Morales, and Miles Chang were already inside. 7:44 a.m. The plan. Vance would deliver a prepared whistleblower disclosure via USB at the live Q&A panel. Miles would trigger the fail-safe dead man leak exactly 60 seconds after Vance spoke, unless Miles manually delayed it. Anna would keep watch for Titan's private security known to be embedded in the summit. "If I get taken down before I finish," Vance said, "you drop everything online." "No press filter," Miles asked. "No filter. Just the truth." 8:22 a.m. The trap closes. In Victor Hale received a message on his phone. Vance confirmed in building. Containment team in motion. He smiled slightly. Let him speak. He thought the leak would never make it out of the building. 8:45 a.m. The panel begins. A polished government moderator stepped up to the mic. Representatives from Lockheed Northrop and Titan Aerospace took their seats. Michael Vance slipped quietly into the press row, disguised in a gray blazer and glasses. Anna stood near the side door. Miles waited with the laptop. 9:12 a.m. The moment. The moderator opened the floor for final questions. Vance stood, unassuming, calm. Michael Vance, former CEO of Titan Aerospace. "I have one question. How does a company explain the existence of a shadow operating system designed to rewrite internal audit trails, manipulate AI trust scores, and erase whistleblowers?" The room froze, gasps, cameras pointed. Hale's eyes narrowed. 9:13 a.m. The upload begins. Miles hit the first sequence. Upload in progress. Status 7%, 18%. Vance stepped onto the stage. From his jacket, he pulled a USB. "I submit to this committee a full log of Project Backscatter, a system authorized not by me, but by your COO, Victor Hale." He plugged it into the terminal. Behind him, the screens flickered logs, photos, video of Hale at the server room. 9:14 a.m. The strike team moves. Titan's embedded security rushed toward the stage. Anna stepped into their path. She held up a press badge and a phone live streaming everything. "You touch him, and this goes straight to the world before you even blink." They stopped. 9:15 a.m. Full release. Miles didn't wait. The files hit, press outlets, government inboxes, public web archives. Backscatter was real. Gabriel Morales' death was tied to internal purge protocols, and Victor Hale's signature was all over it. 9:18 a.m. Hale runs. Victor Hale stepped back from the panel. Security agents moved toward him. He turned, headed toward the back exit, but federal marshals were already there. "Victor Hale, you're under investigation for federal contract fraud, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and attempted corporate coup." He said nothing, just smiled cold and hollow as the cuffs went on. 10:01 a.m. Aftermath. The summit broke into chaos, but the truth was out. Vance's name was trending again, this time cleared. Anna's face appeared on news feeds this time, not as a maid, but as a whistleblower. Titan's stock plummeted. The board called an emergency meeting, 10:32 a.m. Quiet moment. Backstage. Vance sat down next to Anna and Miles. "We did it," Miles said, almost surprised. Anna looked over. "No, you did. We just handed you the key. The files were out." The truth was viral, and the man who tried to erase them had been exposed by the very system he thought he controlled. The truth was no longer buried. The lies were unraveling. And now the house that Victor Hale built was coming down floor by floor. 6:30 a.m., Titan Aerospace, HQ, Manhattan. The building was under lockdown. Federal agents occupied 3 floors. Compliance teams seized servers. Boardroom chairs sat empty. Michael Vance stood in the lobby, no longer a suspect, but a reluctant symbol of a company devouring itself. 7:12 a.m., arrests and resignations. Victor Hale remained in federal custody. 3 senior VPs resigned overnight. A 4th fled the country, now under international watch. Internal logs showed over 100 backscatter-based profiles used to spy on employees, regulators, and clients. The damage was staggering. It wasn't just fraud, a DOJ agent said. It was weaponized surveillance in a commercial shell. 8:20 a.m., meeting with the board. Those who remained. Vance sat at the head of the table, not as CEO, not yet, but as the only person left who could speak without a lawyer beside him. "You have 2 options," he said. "Settle this in silence and let the rot regrow in 6 months, or we clean it out publicly, permanently." The board chairwoman hesitated. "If you return as CEO, there will be noise." Vance looked around. "There's already fire. I'd rather be loud and clean than quiet and infected." 9:03 a.m., Anna speaks. Before the press, standing in front of a wall of reporters, Anna Morales gave a short statement. "My brother died because he tried to do the right thing. He saw what others were afraid to see. This company and this country owes him better than silence." Her voice didn't shake. She didn't cry. But the world listened. 10:10 a.m., classified records. Declassified Miles Cheng worked with federal investigators to decrypt all logs tied to the Echo Gate and backscatter systems. Inside, they found covert blackmail material, biometric data from public officials, dozens of ghost contracts routing through shell companies. Hale wasn't just building a surveillance machine, Miles said. He was building a private intelligence agency. 11:32 a.m., Gabriel Morales reopened. At the request of Vance and Anna, the New Mexico Department of Justice officially reclassified Gabriel's death from accidental to pending federal investigation. The press caught it. The public responded. #Justice. For Gabriel began trending. 12:01 p.m., Vance declines the deal. Titan's interim board offered Michael Vance a private settlement, a golden parachute, a closed resignation. No questions asked. He tore it in half. "I'm not stepping down. I'm stepping in to rebuild what Hale tried to hijack." 1:15 p.m. Anna offered a role. Vance approached Anna in the operations center. "I want you here on the inside. You saw what no one else could." She hesitated. "I cleaned rooms, Michael. I'm not a policy officer." He smiled. "You're the only one I trust to write the policies that keep this from happening again." 2:10 p.m. Titan rebrands. The PR team released a public statement. Titan Aerospace is initiating a total reset of internal systems, executive oversight, and vendor transparency. We will earn trust not through control, but through accountability. The backscatter logo was quietly removed from all archives. The empire had cracked. The traitor was gone. And in the wreckage, the people they tried to silence were now the ones building something new. They tried to erase him, erase her, rewrite the past and program the future. But some stories resist deletion. And now Titan Aerospace was no longer a machine of silence, but a system built on those who refuse to disappear. 6:02 a.m., Titan HQ, rooftop. Michael Vance stood alone watching the sun rise over Manhattan. The building felt different now, less like a fortress, more like a second chance. Behind him, the morning shift was starting, and somewhere inside the future was changing line by line. 7:11 a.m., first executive meeting since the collapse. Vance walked into the new boardroom. Half the faces were new. The rest were quiet, watchful. He stood at the head of the table and said one thing: "If you're here to hide, this isn't your company anymore." He dropped a folder on the table labeled Project Signal, Post Backscatter Oversight Framework. This wasn't a surveillance AI. It was human first, built with transparent governance, public input, and mandatory off switches. 8:00 a.m. Anna's first day as director. Anna Morales walked through Titan's security checkpoint, not as a maid, but as Director of Internal Ethics and Systems Integrity. Her badge shone, clearance full division. Oversight reports to CEO. People looked. Some recognized her, some whispered. She didn't care. She headed straight to the elevator, floor 51. 8:30 a.m. Caleb Morales remembered a new memorial wall was unveiled in Titan's lobby. Gabriel Caleb Morales, System Tech. Whistleblower, truth teller. His sister stood beside it, placing her hand on the brushed steel. She whispered, "We remember you now." 9:42 a.m. The signal protocol goes live. Miles Chung hit initiate. Project Signal launched quietly. No press, no spotlight. It audited itself every 10 minutes. Required two-person physical key turns for major decisions. All logs were public version locked and immutable. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. 10:15 a.m. Final press statement. Michael Vance stood before reporters. I was framed by my own company, saved by someone who wasn't even on the org chart, and rebuilt Titan with the help of people no one thought mattered. If you want to know what leadership looks like now, look at the badge of the woman who delivered the truth without ever raising her voice. 11:22 a.m. The final envelope. On Anna's new desk sat an unmarked envelope. Inside, a plain black USB drive. A single note. If you're reading this, then we weren't the only ones listening. VH. She stared at it, didn't touch it. Instead, she locked it in a vault marked Active Review, Not Trusted, and walked away. Closing scene, rooftop again. Anna and Vance stood side by side watching a drone test fly above the city. "We good?" he asked. "For now," she said. "But trust isn't built in a week." "No," he agreed. "But it starts with one person telling the truth, and one person choosing to believe her." She wasn't a tech expert. She wasn't a spy. She was a maid until the day she dropped a USB into a CEO's coat and changed the future of an entire company.